Thanks a lot, but it's not exactly over yet. Mary?
Smoke! 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 Smoke!
The lights go down and the light comes up over there.
Welcome.
It's toss after this point.
When you came to make all that jazz, what sort of film had you in mind first of all?
A successful one. Well, it's the history of it is odd because I was in the hospital myself and had been ill.
You had a heart attack, and
I had a heart attack and open heart surgery. And I became very interested in death and hospital behavior and the meaning of life and death and those kinds of subjects. And so I started working with a friend of mine, a writer by the name of Robert Allen Arthur, on the screenplay of a novel called Ending by Wilma Holitzer. And it was about dealing with death. And this particular one was about a woman whose husband was dying and her problems with the children, her problems about money, her sex problems, etc. And it was we got a screenplay, and it was a beautifully written screenplay, but it was just so down. And every day I would go to work and I say, it's a lovely piece of material, but I've got to spend 1.5 years with this to 2 years, and I don't think I can face this kind of material. It was real, what we used to call kitchen drama. You know, it was very heavy. And I said, I like the subject, and I would really like to do something in the same area, but with the tools I could use best, which is song and dance. And
how would you yourself describe what you did in the opening sequence of all that jazz?
Well, I tried to use a documentary style, first of all. And it is what my life has been since the time I was 25 years old. It's been those sort of auditions that I refer to as a cattle call. And I've seen many film auditions of one kind or another, acted in a few films that had auditions, and they've been so unrealistic that I tried very hard to show an audience exactly what happens.
They say that I won't last too long on Broadway. I'll catch a Greyhound.
I've done it in a very stylized way because I can't spend that much time, and it was tantamount to show what Roy Scheider did, what his occupation was, and the way he handled people, and how many no's he had to say, and how the few yeses he had, and how he was gentle with people. And those are the kind of things that have been part of my life for a long, long time.
Who's got the pain when they go up? Who's got the pain when they do the mumbo? I don't know who. Do you? Who needs a pill when they do the mumbo? Who needs a pill when they go up? Who needs a pill when they do the mumbo? I don't know who. Do you? Someone must be sick with the heat, or stepping on everyone's feet. But if everyone's feeling okay, why don't they just say Olay when the music carries them away? Who's got the pain when they do the mumbo? Who's got the pain when they go up? Who's got the pain when they do the mumbo? I don't know who. Do you? For there is an element of doubt as to who's got the pain when they do the mumbo, who's got the pain when they go who needs a pill when they do the mumbo, who needs a pill when they go
Toronto, Cannes, Berlin, and Sundance. Everybody chat about good movies. Chat about good movies. Chat about good movies. Good movies. Good movies. Oh, hello and welcome to the Good Movie Chat About, where we have good chats about good movies with good guests. I'm Lord Gugu, also known as Bobby or Gugu or whatever you want to call me, and we are here to have some good chats about good movies. Welcome everybody, and feel free to follow if you're not followed, and even subscribe if you like what you see. I have an extra good subscriber alert this week, no pressure, but just saying. And if you are watching this VOD later on YouTube, please do remember to like and subscribe, or else you embody all that is wrong with society if you don't. Okay, today's guest is somebody I have been chopping it up with in chats and discords and social media and the like, going all the way back to the Jack AM days. And they're a great streamer, one of the all-time chatters, and of course, an actual medical doctor. Please join me in welcoming ADHD MD. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Gugu.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So actually, I see you're chewing on something there. That's great, because the first question I always ask is, movies go great with concessions. So I always have a concession for and as always, it is a Pure Leaf unsweetened iced tea. What are you chewing on there?
Just some wintergreen gum.
Oh, okay.
And a classic.
There you go.
Diet Coke on ice.
Very nice. I mean, so this always leads to the first discussion point. That is that I'm still on no sugar sodas. But I can't do diet. I can't just do Diet Coke. I have to do Coke Zero. I have to do the zeros. I'm a precious baby where the diet is too much aftertaste for me.
I tend to agree, but I have like a meal plan at work, and they didn't have any Coke Zeros, and it was the end of the month, and I had to burn my points, so I grabbed a bunch of Diet Cokes. So.
Nice. Okay. Well,
you do what you can.
You do exactly. I actually just got this week some Dr. Pepper Zeros, which are really good, and I understand people have said for a while that the diet Dr. Pepper is always one of the best diets, and the Dr. Pepper Zero. I think it's just because Dr. Pepper's so sweet and has so many different flavors. It's really easy to cover that diet.
I mean, I grew up on, full high octane Dr. Pepper. Probably contributed to my, overall some weight issues over in my life. But I could never do Diet Dr. Pepper, and I think to this day I still have like an aversion to it. But
I was very pleased with the Dr. Pepper Zero, I'll say.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper Zero was a recent discovery for me, and I prefer Coke Zero, but I'll do a Dr. Pepper Zero in a pinch for sure. Yeah,
I mean, it's opened up some fun to just like grab stuff at the store and try it out. And my favorite discovery was the Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero in the decade of Pepsi that we're in now. And actually, I see DBJ is frequently drinking them on stream, and every time, and I don't have any now, and so now I'm like, I wish I had a Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero. That looks good.
Yeah, Diet Pepsi also something that I will grab, but I don't know that I've had like a Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Yeah,
maybe I should give that a try.
They even? Yeah, I don't even know if I've seen. I mean, I'm sure they would. Like just Pepsi Zero. Oh, I remember Pepsi Max. Yeah. Well, and of course I remember, speaking of Dr. Pepper 10, because that was for me as a man.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not for ladies.
That's right.
The Pepsi. They do have a Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Okay. I'd be interested to try that. I'd like the Coke Zero a lot. But I'm also, like, I am so Coke in a can pilled. Like, that was my favorite always. Was just the straight up full sugar Coke, cold, ice cold in a can. There's nothing better. Or actually, the only thing that comes close is McDonald's Coke, which I do miss so much.
Weirdly, I only, I think my mom was a big Diet Coke drinker. So I was accustomed to the taste of Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And I never really, I was always a Dr. Pepper guy until I started doing Coke Zero. Real heads might of the ADHD MD stream might know that my my webcam is currently mounted on an empty 12-pack box of Coke Zero spiced.
Wow.
It's the perfect height, for where the webcam needs to be, and it has a little.
Were those mini cans?
Ledge.
Is that a mini can?
No,
box?
no.
Okay.
No, it's like a full 12-pack of spiced Coke Zero.
Man, well, that was the thing, and now I think I can't find them. I think maybe they're over, but the orange, because I was getting the orange cream Cokes, and they were so good, but I was like, I can't be drinking these. Like, that was the thing where I was like, I need to switch to the Zeros and like try those, and they're great. And so I was getting a lot of those, but I haven't been able to find them again. So those are the orange cream Coke Zeros. Oof, that's so
Yes.
good.
Yeah. I don't know if the spiced are like anywhere anymore.
I don't think they
you
are.
can still find some of those orange cream, some places.
Yeah, you can sometimes find them full sugar, but the Zeros are harder. And we finally did get some of the Sprite Tea Zero, which is quite good.
Interesting.
Really like that.
I've been hearing about that.
At first, I did it so since I switched to no sugar, we're eventually going to talk about movies. Since I switched to no sugar, I have been just drinking unsweetened iced tea all the time, and I really love it now. And so I was doing that for so many months that then when I finally tried the Sprite with tea Zero, I was like, well, now I don't like that it's sweet tea. Like, now I don't like sweet tea. But after I had another one, and I was like, no, it's not really. It's like the Sprite. You get the Sprite is where the sweet's coming. So you get the Sprite and the tea, and it's nice. It's pretty good, and it doesn't also.
I did have a.
It doesn't have
a Palmer yesterday. and
Okay.
that was pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean that's the tea or the Nick Weiger, the tea lemonade is always great. That I always love that mix. And yeah, that's something that I actually think one of the few times I had a sugar soda was because I got like a tea lemonade at Shake Shack, I think, and it was like so sweet. And so now when I have sweeter drinks, I'm getting the like punch in the face with it. All right, so let's talk. Let's start with let's do a movie vibe check. Where you at? I mean, so I know obviously you're a man that loves movies. You watch them on your stream. You talk about them on your stream. Where
You might say I'm a cinephile.
That's right.
If you're pompous or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, you're there in the Criterion Closet right now, so obviously, what can we say? Just tell me about your like movie intake. Like, where are you looking? What are you watching? Like, how's it go for you?
I mean, honestly, it's my new movie viewing has fallen off like since starting residency, and during med school. But usually I'll like go like have like fits and starts where I'm like, oh, I need to get back into cinema.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get back to my roots. I no longer I'm unplugged from like all the streaming services. I have a couple buddies that have like Plex servers, and we'll just like either DM them like, hey, can you add X, Y, or Z to
and
the
of course
Plex?
it's canon on this stream that Plex servers is the multiplex in your neighborhood, your friends, and then that's what you're talking
right.
about. Yeah.
I pay for every movie that
repertory
I see.
screening.
Cold hard cash.
Yep. Empty theater.
And when I say I request that my friends add it, I mean come to go to the movie with me. Yeah, that's
right.
What I mean.
Yeah, let's watch this at your multiplex. Yeah.
Yes, my friends that actually run repertory theaters.
Yes.
But I'm trying to watch more stuff. Check off some blind spots that have been kind of annoying me over the years. So trying to do more of that than revisiting,
Right.
old faves. Of course, don't tell anybody, but sometimes I might watch movies on this website.
I know. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't watch a full TV movie just last night on here. So it's with Ryan Phillippe about killer bees from 1995. It was quite
And
something.
and there, I've been able to squeeze in some good stuff, but I do feel like the format doesn't really suit it. It doesn't really like suit to like high quality cinema. It's more kind of trash or.
Right. They're not watching Vim Vendors on movie night with Howlin' DB.
Yeah. I mean, last night I think we watched what was it called? The Cat from Outer Space.
Oh, nice.
A 70. I've been doing a bunch of cat movies.
Wait, is that like a Czech movie?
No, this is a Disney live action Disney movie. That's got like Roddy McDowell.
Oh, it's got it,
and some other people who I don't know, and also a really charming, I believe, like kind of tabby-ish cat. Did a very good job. The movie itself was nothing special. The script was very pedestrian. It I mean, I say that like I'm like trying to judge it up against like, but even as like a family movie, it was very boring. But Cat was good.
Yeah, I mean,
Cat was good.
Like the 70s is really like that's Disney in its downfall. Like that's them on the downswing into the 80s where they bottom out, and then then Eisner comes in and rights the ship, and then you have the renaissance of the great animated movies and stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting time to just go back and see like that. I remember when Disney Plus launched, right? And they had everything on there. And that was when people were just like, what the fuck are these movies? Like, are these real movies?
The computer that wore tennis
shoes. The one that kills me, and it's going to drive my wife crazy for me. Sorry, Abby, but it's Candle Shoe. There's a movie called Candle Shoe that's like, it takes place in like a English like estate or something, and it's like these kids have to go stay at the Candle Shoe or so. I forget even what it's about, but just the name Candle Shoe cracks me up. But Mr. Boogedy, of course, and all that as well.
So I was trying to decide between The Cat from Outer Space and That Darn Cat.
Sure.
Both that one's from the 60s, but both live action Disney movies.
Well, That Darn Cat got a remake in the 90s, I remember, when I was a child. Hey, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, Project Almond.
The fun fact, both of them feature Roddy McDowell.
He was working in the 70s. I mean, it's like, he's in all the, like, or at least the first Planet of the Apes. He's like the main one of those. But also one of my favorite Columbos is the one with Roddy McDowell. I always shout that one out. Do you ever watch Columbo?
I mean, I've seen I think all of the first season of Columbo, and then maybe like half of this, and then I was basically binging it, and then I kind of fell off.
Right.
But
yeah, I have the full box set, and I'll just pick it up from time to time.
Wiki for Candle Shoe. This is the last movie Jodie Foster was obliged to make under her contract for Disney, which also hindered her from starring as Princess Leia in the Star Wars franchise.
Wow, Abby, so you can enjoy Candle Shoe. Jodie Foster missed out on being Princess Leia. You, Abby, are responsible for Carrie Fisher's coke addiction. It wouldn't have happened.
And then, well, I was gonna try to pivot towards all that jazz, but
no, we're still in the preamble. But I mean, it's fine. Okay. But I mean, like,
I was gonna say, Carrie Fisher, Debbie Reynolds, and then I'm sure there's another, short jump, but. All right. Okay. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I see. No, I see. You're trying to get the musical way in. I mean, the 70s in general were like the first film decade that, like, wasn't contemporary to a movie I would have seen as a child or something, like the kids' movies of the 80s or whatever. That's like earlier than that. It was like, this was definitely one of the first movies of the decade that I saw as in high school as a teenager, and it totally.
Interesting.
And then I saw like Dog Day Afternoon, and I saw Network, and like these movies were like the ones where I was like, oh shit, like most people are like The Godfather or something like that. I didn't see The Godfather until like 10 years ago or something. Like, but I mean, and of course it's great. And I've only gained even more movies in that. It still might be my favorite film decade in general. Do you have a favorite film decade?
It's hard to beat. I mean, 70s is it's not the 80s.
Yeah.
Despite
there's
many
great stuff in the
movies of
80s, yeah,
80s.
but that's
yeah. I would say, I mean, maybe it's a little passe, but I think 70s is probably hard to top.
Yeah, I mean the 40s are also really up there for me. I do love the 40s. It's also just because there was some stuff going on in the world in that decade as well, which actually makes the movies even more interesting. You know, like the fact that Casablanca came out like during the war, you know, like, and it's like about that too. It's kind of crazy to think about. Or another one of my favorites, A Matter of Life and Death. Do you know the Powell and Pressburger? Have you seen that movie?
The Archers, of course. Yeah. I have not seen A Matter of Life and Death, but I love. I know that you've talked the Red Shoes on your. I love the Red Shoes. I love Peeping Tom.
Sure.
Life and Death of Colonel Blimp.
Black Narcissus is great. Has some amazing, huge matte painting backgrounds in that look unbelievable. But A Matter of Life and Death, definitely recommend that one. Is a sort of metaphysical romance between a man who's supposed to die as his plane is crashing towards the end of World War II, but his plane is going down and he's supposed to die, but he jumps out without a parachute into the ocean and somehow survives. And it's because it was so stormy and foggy that the angel couldn't find him to take him to heaven. And so he gets like a couple extra days on Earth, and then he falls in love with an American girl. And it's David Niven as well. And so there's all this stuff where there's scenes that take place in heaven, and it's black and white in heaven, and then it's color on Earth, and there's all these sort of amazing, like, neat tricks. But what's so cool about it is that there's the climactic scene, and there's like, it's sort of almost like Defending Your Life, kind of, where it's like they have to have a trial. And can I talk about Happy Gilmore 2, please? It'll they're basically the same movie, but there's a trial in heaven.
I thought that was one of my chatters who was
that's perfect,
begging me to watch Happy Gilmore 2 last night.
Let me tell you, I saw the one scene in Happy Gilmore 2 that I think I need to see and that I want to see, and that was all I needed to see, and it's the Eminem cameo. Have you seen that scene?
What?
Oh my god, the Eminem cameo. Thank you, Abby, for letting me know David Niven is also the butler in Candleshoe. It all comes back to Candleshoe. So he plays, in Happy Gilmore, the part played by Joe Flaherty, the great comic SCTV actor Joe Flaherty, whose whole thing is he heckles Happy Gilmore, and he calls him, "You jackass, you suck, you jackass." He's been paid by Shooter McGavin, of course, and that's his whole thing. And he's very funny in that movie. But in the like obligatory like a sequel way that like you have to reference everything, and to the point where I haven't seen Naked Gun yet. I'm very excited to see Naked Gun. I'm only hearing great things. But there's the joke that they put in the trailer for Naked Gun where it's every single person is like the son of somebody who was from the earlier, and it's like. But they do that, like, not even as a joke, basically. Or I guess it is a joke, but it's just not as funny. And Eminem is supposed to...
Gilmore, the next generation.
Yeah, Eminem's supposed to be his son, the jackass guy. And so he's doing that, and he looks so crazy. And then...
I'm seeing the stills.
It ends with Happy Gilmore's sons picking him up and throwing him into a swamp where he gets eaten by gators. Gators, like the first movie. See? So it's all just like... That's the movie. And so once I watched that, I was like, Jesus
They're doing
Christ,
it.
I don't need to see anything more than this. Yeah, so that's... But A Matter of Life and Death has a scene where they're having a trial for whether he will get to, live on because he fell in love or whatever, and in heaven. And so, like, the people that are at the trial are just like dozens and dozens of people in like British soldiers, American soldiers, and it's like, you know, French soldiers, like all these different, basically, you know, in the implication of these are our brothers and sons and whatever, as you're like, and I remember like my first time watching it, that like really hit me. I'm like, this movie came out in 1947 or 48. Like, it's so recent, and you're watching that in that moment and like thinking about, I don't know, it's just crazy.
I mean, it's a interesting, like, I love you know, movies that kind of I don't know if you'd say magical realism, but like,
oh yeah, I love magical realism.
You know, I like,
which this movie
like,
that we're talking today,
yes, like today's
yeah,
feature, you know, that specifically get into kind of, you know, reminiscence or memory, recollection, nostalgia. You know, one of my favorites be like Wild Strawberries, a
Bergman.
Yeah, Ingmar Bergman.
I haven't seen that one, I don't think, but yeah. It's so
good. It's a little bit Christmas Carol-y, you know, Ghost of Christmas Past kind of, you know, this old guy kind of just walking through these places that, you know, remind him of his youth, and just remembering, you know, his past loves, and it's such a sweet, kind of bittersweet movie. But if you haven't, I mean, if you're inclined to watch Woody Allen movies, I'm pretty sure Stardust Memories is like an homage to Wild Strawberries.
I don't even know that one. The Woody Allens that I like are the ones without him. I mean, the one that I really love is Bullets Over Broadway. I mean,
maybe
I was always gonna love that one.
Maybe Stardust Memories is like maybe it's more of an 8.5 thing. I can't remember, but
8.5 definitely has a lot of similarities to All That Jazz as well. But yeah, it's like the flattening of because you as the audience are watching this, you know, and the director's showing you the protagonist having their memory and also being in the present moment, and how those things kind of get flattened together, that you're remembering something as you're also here, and they inform each other. And what a cool thing that a movie can sort of do that and put you in that kind of headspace, in a way that only a movie can do. We gotta love I love the movies.
It's kind of magical.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, because I'm a big... I don't just love movies. I am, like, more and more every day care less and less about TV. Like, there's, like, TV that, like, comes on that I used to be like, yeah, I gotta watch this. And I, like, haven't watched the latest White Lotus. I haven't, you know, watched the new Always Sunny episodes, even though I've loved those. Like, I just want to watch movies now. Like, my parents are like, oh, you watched the new season of The Bear? And I'm like... No, not yet. I don't know. I mean, I've watched the previous ones, but now I don't even want to watch TV. Are you a movies over TV person?
I mean, 100%.
I mean, it's okay to like both, to be clear.
Yeah, but I will, selectively get into shows. My girlfriend and I just binged the first season of Severance, which was fantastic. She was gone most of the summer, so now that she's back, we'll probably get into season 2. Haven't seen any White Lotus,
which I watched the first 2 seasons, and then this latest season has like an incredible cast. It has all my favorite people in it. You know, it's got Goggins, Carrie Coon, Parker Posey. It's got hitters.
Carrie Coons was a discovery for me in Leftover. I don't think I've ever heard of her before.
That's where I mean, the first season, she was the bright point of which. The first season was a little rougher than the next 2, but she was so good in all of them.
God damn, I love The Leftovers, man. Yeah. That speaking of TV shows, that's probably
No,
like my favorite TV show of all time.
Yeah, I always kind of want to rewatch it. I struggle to think about like restarting it. You're like, well, then I got to get through the first season, which is still, it's good. It's just like, it's such a harder watch than the second and third seasons, where it's like almost a comedy as well, like a very dark comedy, but like it has that kind of quirky, like they changed the theme sing, right? And I love the second theme song that they use. Which is really funny because whenever Weiger does the Leftovers segment on Doughboys, he does the season 1 theme song, which is, and then you just remember, and like you're like, Jesus, this is what the theme song.
This is very heavy.
And I think that sort of change that they took really served the show. Like that, the change in that song embodies what they did to the show as well.
I mean, just like circling back to the cast, like Margaret Qualley, so good.
Eccleston.
Chris Eccleston, his episode in season 1 is
that was when I was like, I don't know if I'm going to keep watching this show. It's kind of on the fence, and then I remember watching his episode and being like, okay, wait, this is cool.
Just gut wrenching. You're just like the highs and lows of that episode are bizarre, are like bonkers.
Yeah, no, I mean I really love that season. Actually, a season of television that I was talking about this last week with Ricky as well, but I watched the one mini series that Satoshi Kon made in Japan, Paranoia Agent.
My brother is on my, anytime we talk anime, my brother's huge anime guy. Anytime we talk anime, he's like, dude, you have to watch Paranoia Agent. And the only Satoshi Kon that I've watched is Perfect Blue, which, I think, probably maybe his best known, or
maybe. But he's someone that is 100%. Like that is someone that you should watch everything they did. Like it's all worth. It's like Lynch. It's like, no, you need to. If you like one of it, if you really connect with one of it, you have to watch all of it. Like because if you do, like his whole shit is amazing. I mean, Tokyo Godfathers is also.
I don't even know if the order matters.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. No. Tokyo Godfathers is so, that's like his most grounded in a way. Well, hey, Source Force. That's like, it's still very goofy, and it's funny to call it grounded because it's kind of insane in its own way, but like you're talking about magical realism, it doesn't really necessarily go that way. I agree that Tokyo Godfathers is the best Christmas movie. I agree. It's really
now
good.
Speaking of, and we're kind of got into anime now, but in the same avenue of shows that I need to watch because I was really excited about it but just haven't, is Lazarus, what's his name, Shinichiro Watanabe, who did Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. It's his new show.
So Source Force is like, she was summoned.
Ooh, anime. Anime. Satoshi Kon. But yeah, I watched the first episode of Lazarus. It was, pretty promising. They got like, who's the guy? Chad Stahelski from the John Wick.
Yeah.
The John Wick.
He started as Keanu's stunt double.
Yeah. And so he's kind of like the action director of the Lazarus show.
What platform is this
on? I think it was on HBO Max.
Oh, yeah. No, I do have this on my list. Yeah, I keep putting this off because, again, this is like, I'll be like, yeah, that looks good, I'll watch that, and then I just never want to start it. That's what I'll feel about with TV shows, because I'm like...
The soundtrack is like Floating Points, Kamasi Washington, some real heavy hitters in like jazz kind of fusion.
That's right. I remember in the trailer. I was gonna like, it's so bebop vibes in the best way. Yeah, very much. That's awesome.
But I need to watch more movies, basically.
Yeah. So obviously you don't have time to watch a lot of movies because you're doing like doctor stuff. Do you like medical movies at all, or do you like not want to watch those? Like the one I'm thinking of
sometimes.
One of my favorite, well, not one of my favorites, but because there's so many good ones. But I really watched last year for the first time and loved Kurosawa's Redbeard. Do you know that one?
Redbeard is so good.
Yes,
that's great. It's like this great like movie about mentorship as
Yeah.
as well, and like apprenticeship. It's almost like a residency movie. He's like
Sure.
a surgical resident.
Well, and it's like
basically.
what he's teaching him is how to treat the whole person, kind of, and that's like
Yeah.
sort of, and that's what I loved is it's like people's emotional scars and own shit like carries through to their body and like their physical needs, and how that like they all end up interacting with all of that as well. It's just beautiful.
It's a little bit Doc Hollywood. Like this like ambitious young doctor kind of
Right.
just treating like just doing like general practice stuff, which I think he's a little bit skeptical of, and then sees like the need and just how impactful you can be as a general practitioner. I'm trying to find my letterbox list here. I made like a sprawling letterbox list of like medical movies. Let me see.
So I'm thinking, I remember watching Awakenings. Did you ever see Awakenings? I think is it Penny Marshall directed or Gary Marshall?
Right.
I mean, it stars Robin Williams in a very serious role, and he treats like coma patients, and they find like a revolutionary treatment that like wakes them up. And Robert De Niro,
Oliver Sacks, maybe.
Is it based on a real thing? Because then the coma patients end up kind of going back under.
Awakenings is a 1973 nonfiction book by Oliver Sacks.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've read one Oliver Sacks book called like Hallucination. What's his deal? Is he a neurologist? Neurologist. Really interesting book that he wrote called Hallucinations, just about all these different kind of case studies of people having different hallucinations with a lot of different etiology. Causes. But yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if it was good or not, but it was kind of interesting, and I remember being one of the first movies I saw. Maybe I'd seen Dead Poet Society, but like one of the first, because I was such a Robin Williams kid of like, oh my god, he's so funny, like Aladdin just kind of imprinted on people of my age very much.
Man, just like the manic energy on that guy.
And it's such an interesting performance, right? Because it's so like.
And now again we're this close to All That Jazz because of Birdcage. And
that's right.
Fussy.
Which I used that gif on Blue Sky today. Which also, the Birdcage was another one where he was originally offered the part of Albert. They wanted him to play the Nathan Lane part, and he's like, no, it's like he was more attracted to the I forget what his character's name is right now, Armand. And he was like, no, I think that would be better, and like you should get someone that's like actually gay, but like
it works so well.
Oh yeah,
Nathan Lane.
But the thing is that all four of the main cast there are so funny to me. Like, of course, Nathan Lane is like the star. Diane Wiest is one of my favorites. Diane Wiest.
Who is it?
Diane Wiest. Again, Bullets Over Broadway. Bullets Over Broadway. Diane Wiest. It's one of the best movies that has just incredible supporting performances. I'm sorry to be talking about a Woody Allen movie again, but because it's Diane Wiest and Jennifer Tilly, both Oscar nominated for it. Diane Wiest won. Jennifer Tilly's hysterically funny. I mean, she's great always, but like so funny.
Bound is just like
I
fucking love Bound.
Yeah, I mean, I love her in the Chucky movies. I do. I love her.
Yeah. Okay, so
Seed of Chucky, so good.
I pulled up my my Metacinema list. Some of my tops are Contagion.
Okay.
Which more of a public health, but a lot of these are like mental health, like Side Effects, and again, maybe medicine less of a. What About Bob?
Here's one, because actually they filmed a lot of it really close to my college. I mean, it's not like a mental... I mean, mental health definitely plays a role in it, is 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
Actually...
That's a great one. For like, in terms of, you know, psychiatry, like, that and K-Pax are things that I think about.
K-Pax.
Not infrequently, because, like, you know, they're I can't remember if K-Pax, if it ever is like, oh yes, he is an alien, but it's like, you know, in my field, you have patients telling you some pretty out there stuff, you know, whether it's, you know, I died and came back from the dead, or I am Jesus, or I am the god Ra, and these are all actual things that patients have told me. Or I've been abducted by aliens, and you know, you can only theorize that it's delusion. I can't prove that what these patients are telling me is not true. I just kind of Occam's razor it, like, well, odds are this is not true.
But also it's like...
it seems to be impairing your ability to live your life, which is kind of the main thing.
Right. So let's deal with that thing. And yeah, just kind of, yeah.
I love Doc Hollywood. I mean, that's one that I came to, you know, like after med school, or like when I was in medical school. I think I watched that.
I remember watching that on pay cable, well, not pay cable, but like on Showtime or something when I was on one of the premium channels, because I loved Tommy Boy, and I knew that the girlfriend from Tommy Boy shows her boobs in it, and she does.
yeah, she does do that. The Nick. The Nick.
Oh,
I'm a huge,
I always hear good stuff about that. That's Soderbergh too, isn't it? Right.
I'm a huge Soderbergh. He directed every episode of I think both seasons. And
I love Clive Owen.
Barry Jenkins is supposed to be doing season 3 at some point. You know, they're gonna, like, you know, bring back the guy that plays Algernon Edwards. I can't remember his name.
I mean, that's interesting. These like
from
great filmmakers wanting to go back to TV like that. I mean, and especially filmmakers like, you know, Barry Jenkins. I mean, well, he also already did that because he did Underground Railroad as well. But I'm thinking now, like
there's an interesting little like factoid there. I think that Soderbergh started working on the Nick after he made Che, or Che, about Che Guevara.
Right. Yeah, that's one that's been on my list for a while. It's very long.
what had happened was it premiered at Cannes and got, you know, this minutes long standing ovation. And then he couldn't get distribution for it in the United States. And he was so disillusioned by that he was like, fuck movies, I'm done making movies. He was like fully like, I'm not making movies like anymore. And then of course, you know, comes, you know, it's Soderbergh. So I figured that was not true, but he did end up doing some really good stuff since then, like Logan Lucky and...
Well, I was gonna say Beyond the Candelabra is incredible. And it's really a tragedy that it was just on HBO. Like, that should have had a theatrical release. That thing was incredible. I mean, like, Michael Douglas should have been an Oscar nominee or even winner. Like, it's kind of feels wrong to me that didn't happen.
Yeah, great stuff. Soderbergh is probably my guy. If I had to,
well, I mean,
you know, pick a favorite filmmaker.
He's almost everything I've seen from him. I love. I love The Informant. I don't know what it is about The Informant, but that was one that I just always really liked. But I also have a lot of blind spots there. Like, I haven't seen his, you know, Sex, Lies, and Videotape and like the stuff that like sort of started him, and I need to go back and check out a lot of that.
He's so prolific.
Right. It's impossible to like try to watch it all. Like, do I watch, you know, Schizopolis and everything? Like, there's so much.
You definitely should watch. Like, Schizopolis is amazing.
I did love Black Bag and the horror.
I haven't seen either of those. I think the last one I saw from him was No Sudden Move with Don Cheadle and Benicio, and that was damn good. There's like this whole it's like set against the backdrop of like Detroit in like the like 60s and like all these like shady business practices from the like motor companies. And you know, I just went into it thinking like this is going to be like a crime movie, like, you know, abduction, kidnapping, you know, ransom thing. And then it's just like very like very interesting. But Soderbergh always, you know, it seems like he's always got something.
Yeah, he just likes to have a project. Like, yeah, like you said, like the idea of him retiring is just so funny because he's just somebody that like he's always got to be working on something. So even if he doesn't want to make a movie, he's gonna, I don't know, he's gonna go into like making like video art installations or something. Like he's not gonna stop working. Like he's gonna do something. Black Bag was so refreshing because as I'm watching it, I'm like, a movie for adults. Like it's just like it's, you know, of course it has big stars in it, and you know Fassbender and Kate Blanchett, but like it's great.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Now we've spent enough time on the preamble. Now we can get into this. 1979. Why, it's none other than All That Jazz. So I said I watched this randomly in high school. I do think it may have been at least partially informed by, you know, wanting to watch a movie. They would give the little like warnings about what was in the movie at the end of when you're like on the TV guide, and it did say like nudity and sex and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that sounds good. But of course I was also a theater kid, so I got really, really into it. I mean, like, I was like really invested, and it very early connected with me. And yeah, I mean, it was something that then I would just want to like. It was also an early movie where I remember like going to a party one time with theater people, and it was on, and just being like, oh, awesome. Like anytime that like that it would be on TV or something, and then I eventually even bought it on DVD. So this was something that this is a movie that when it was on your list, I was like, well, that's always going to be tempting to me. I talked about it on Musical Theater is Good actually as well with Brendan Gallagher and Claire Downs as well. So
I mean, a little peek behind the curtain. We did have a back and forth. As to what we were gonna watch.
We had another movie picked originally, and I watched like 30 minutes of it and was like, I don't know. So yeah, but I mean,
we were talking about doing. You had suggested maybe a Wells,
right?
And
because I have an Orson Welles event on the horizon, folks. I'll maybe talk more about that later. But so yeah, I've been wanting to possibly look at some of Orson Welles' movies, and the movie that people that love Orson Welles always say is their favorite, right, is The Magnificent Ambersons, because you can't say Citizen Kane because that's too obvious of a choice. So everybody says no, this is the one he made after that.
I feel like I hear a lot of F for fake, you know, these days. But I don't know. But I had suggested Ambersons because I've seen like a lot of the, you know, like Touch of Evil. I'm blanking.
Chimes at Midnight.
Chimes at Midnight. Yeah. So I've seen a lot of these kind of big ones, and I think I had tried watching Magnificent Ambersons, and I was like, well, like that or The Trial or Lady from Shanghai, but it felt like, you know, and then, you know, it sounded like based on your initial assessment, like maybe not like a full conversation here.
Yeah, I mean, I just like. I would want to already have like the researched into it and been excited about it. I was just worried about getting there in like a few days, having to figure it out. But like The Trial is one that was another one that was tempting, because The Trial is very out there and great, and I love Anthony Perkins always, and Orson Welles is very fun in his performance in that movie as well.
Anthony Perkins, father of the star of,
and Oz Perkins of Quigley. Yeah, no, that was after he cured his homosexuality, which is true. That's not even like
good God,
much of a joke. He really was like a known to be out gay man that was in a relationship with the star of Damn Yankees that I showed the clip of before.
Really?
God, what's his name? Anyway, that was one of it. But anyway, so he had like relationships with men and everything. And then when, I don't know if it was like when he got into the 70s, he was like, his career was maybe waning, and it was like, oh, you have a family and you're out there, and then it's like you have a, I don't know. But, or he just was bisexual and like found a woman that he loved. I don't want to.
Yeah, found it. Yeah.
I don't want to, negate that, but it is interesting how in his life it was like only men for a while. And
Yeah,
then
no bi erasure.
He got married
on this stream.
No, certainly not here. But Oz Perkins is the son of Anthony Perkins.
Yes. So anyway, and then I sent like 20 more movies, and you came back with, I think, Mikey. Mikey and Nikki would be cool. And I Can Always Talk, all that jazz. And I was like, that was the excuse I needed to say, let's do All That Jazz. I want to watch it. I'm not a huge musical guy, but there are a number of musicals that I do really love.
Like what?
I had some notes. Let me
well, have you seen? Let's start here. Have you seen Cabaret?
Yes, yeah.
Which
Gilliam,
I mean,
Jan
like,
Venue.
And so that that you saw Cabaret, and then you're like, yeah, I want to see All That Jazz. Obviously, I mean, like, right, because that is, I think, one of that is such like I listed my favorite musicals, and that's number one.
Now
musicals.
I don't
movie
know
musicals.
that I'm the biggest fan of the leads in that. Like I don't know that like Michael York or
you don't like Liza.
It's not that I don't like Liza Minnelli. I just, as an actor, I don't know that they are like that great. Like as like performers, sure, yes. But and maybe I should revisit Cabaret. But
yeah, to me, I think I see what you're saying, but I do think, especially for like Liza as Sally Bowles, I do think that like it's such a great marriage of actor and role, because it's such a showy person that's always kind of larger than life and almost putting on an act in every moment of having to be like this very fun person. So that's why I think maybe like those qualities that might like, I don't know, but not that you're wrong, but that's like that's my reaction. Well, yeah,
Fosse. I'm not a Fosse head. I haven't seen Lenny. I haven't seen Star 80 or
Tough watch. It's good. Tough watch. Have you seen Chicago, the movie Chicago?
I have not seen Chicago. No. So I know that's where, All That Jazz, was kind of. Is that what that song was written for? Was that musical?
Yes. It's the opening song of the musical Chicago. And so all of the stuff that's happening in this movie and all of the people are parallels to real things that really had happened or were happening. The musical that he's directing in the movie is basically Chicago.
LA, what is it? NY?
Well, no, it's called
LA or
what the fuck is it called? Actually, I always forget what, because it's like and it feels like my favorite movie. How do I not know what the musical is called? Because it's like he doesn't care. Like he doesn't think it's very good. He just like is doing this. Well, and so this is all part of it. This is the real situation. Okay. So Chicago was a passion project of his wife, Gwen Verdon. So if anybody that was watching before we went live, that last song was Mambo from Damn Yankees, and that was Gwen Verdon and Bob Fosse himself doing a little dance. And they were like one of the most important creative partnerships in like Broadway ever. Both, and then also they were married and had a kid and stuff. But he was always cheating on her, always.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, hey, thanks for coming in, Space Cat. That's awesome. I'd love to see this on a big screen. That's awesome. So she had been wanting to make Chicago for forever. Kept getting put off because Bob was doing. He wanted to do Cabaret, the movie, and then he started, doing other stuff. He got really bogged down with a bunch of stuff, and it kept getting delayed. And by the time that they were doing it, like, over a dozen years had passed of her getting the rights to this story and wanting to make the musical, that now she was like a little too old to play it, right? Which is the whole thing with the character in the movie.
Yeah.
That is
24-year,
his
yeah,
ex-wife,
20,
right? She's like,
25.
yeah, I'm just and that's like the last line of the play is like, wow, nothing like a 25-year-old girl like me, and it's like this woman who's clearly in her 40s. And anyway, so like that was like it. He got a heart attack. He had a heart attack during the making of it because he was also editing Lenny and doing these other things. So Lenny,
and smoking,
Lenny is
like,
the stand-up, obviously. Yeah, and I mean, and that was the other thing is that he was just like his doctors. You know, he was already had like a nervous breakdown and stuff at this point. Is Lenny worth a watch? I would put it towards the bottom of the Fosse list for me personally. Dustin Hoffman's not that great is honestly my biggest issue with it is Dustin Hoffman's kind of miscast, and the movie kind of works in spite of him because I'll get into it. But I'm
just gonna lead because I'm kind of like where to even begin here, like.
Yeah. No. I'm just gonna start with getting these parallels out of the way.
Yeah.
So he had a heart attack during it. Something that he did during the Chicago is so that like his doctors had cut him off of like, no, you have to stop taking these uppers and things, and you're supposed to stop smoking. He was always told to stop smoking. He never did. And so he was being like really regulated, and so he went to one of the dancers in Chicago that he'd worked with and knew, and asked her to help if she knew someone that could get him, you know, Dexedrine or whatever uppers that he needed. And so like that, so he was doing that, going behind like getting black market pills and stuff, working himself too hard, all this, and had a heart attack during the making of the rehearsal process of that. It had to be delayed a bunch and all this so that Gwenford was even older when it opened. But he did come back. He didn't die, obviously, and but I think that's really the genesis of the movie. And then the other big thing for me that I think actually Chicago's been coming up again recently because there was just the as a theater person a chorus line 50th anniversary, I think, which that opened in 1975 and the big showdown at the Tonys for Best Musical was A Chorus Line and Chicago. And so people have said, oh, did the right musical win or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. But Chicago did well. It ran for a few years, and I think it even turned a profit. And the other thing was that Bob Fosse was the writer of it, and they were the original producers, so they owned the rights to it, and so they forever make money on it, and his daughter does and everything. Like any production of Chicago, they're still making money on it. So that was like the other big reason that Gwen Verdon wanted to get this made. Is like for their security. But the other thing that made it very similar is that if you look at the original cast of Chicago, you will see they're wearing like nothing, the dancers. They're basically naked. Like they're the skimpiest little lingerie ever. Like you have Jerry Orbach, Lieutenant Briscoe himself, as the original Billy Flynn, and he's got all these women around him, and they are wearing basically nothing. And that's not really in the script necessarily. It's not like a demand that it has to be. The very successful Chicago revival that came in the 90s that is still running to this day, that thing just will never stop because it's, I think, cheap to run, and you can just easily plug in stars to it always in like the principal roles, so they just run that thing forever. But they're, you know, it's Bob Fosse sexy dancing and stuff, and they have their cleavage and things, like they're not like unsexy, but it's nowhere near the like
as scandalous.
Yeah. So that to me is another parallel in like
that's a great sequence in this, you know, but the scene that you showed in the pre-show of we just lost the family audience.
Yeah, now Sinatra will never record it. Yeah. Which is such a good line. I mean, I love that. You know, I'm going to get very musically here, but Stephen Sondheim, my god of all gods, he was like the most money he ever made, and the song that people know him best was for "Send in the Clowns" because Sinatra recorded it. Like that, it really is like it's a real thing. Like you want it to, and especially that was such a thing in the 50s and into the 60s. And so it's still kind of held on of like you need the big hit from the show that like can be on its own that people will want to listen to. So
the Great American Songbook.
Yeah, Anyway, so all that jazz. 1979. Bob Fosse predicts his death in this movie. It's really just like one of these directors' movies where it's the culmination of everything they've done, everything they've learned. It's all put into this one movie, and also like everything they're interested in, because Bob Fosse was always obsessed with death, like his own death. He quoted as saying that he never expected to live past 30. And that's why he like was always just living so hard and chain smoking. He just had.
I mean, this is an incredible movie about death. Like, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, I don't know. It just struck me as like a great examination of mortality. Like regret. All the stand-up set that he's continuously going back to and editing, and
which we can say is not funny, but it's funny. It's the worst stand-up set ever. It's not funny.
Yeah,
but it's
big, very, very big.
It's something good about the movie is that they're not precious about the stuff, and it's not necessarily supposed to be a great movie. Like, in fact, it's like it's a source of stress for him. Is this movie any good? Is what I'm making any good?
Yeah,
like,
well, it's definitely not a 5-bagger,
right?
To the review.
No, it's half a balloon.
And half a balloon. But it's about Dr. Kubler-Ross and the 5 stages of grief, or 5 stages of death, as it were. What is
anger, denial,
bargaining,
depression, and acceptance.
Depression and acceptance. Yeah, and. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm skipping to the end here. But
no, we can talk about the whole thing.
That entire third act is just this fever dream, this hallucination, very Fellini,
Yeah. And what's so cool about it is that everything that was in the movie up until that point, which was relatively, again, grounded. I mean, like, there's musical numbers and things like that, and there is some of the, him talking to Jessica Lange, and we'll get into what that is or whatever, and little theatrical moments when he's clearly like thinking or in his memory. But yeah, for it to like fully take off like this, and everybody in the audience, all the dancers, all the things that are sort of like little Easter eggs that you can find through the whole thing, that is just the entire movie is in the end. So it's like, yeah, it's like him filtering the end of his life, and like this is what he's like sort of, it's everything that he's done, cared about, like all put together in a big musical like sensation. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scanning through it right now. He has this massive like double vessel coronary like at about the halfway point of the movie. And then I think the frequency of but again, throughout he's talking to this Jessica Lange, angel-ish,
right? Is she? And then you also hear about that there was
really wants to fuck him.
There was an interview that he did in Philadelphia or something with a blonde interviewer, and so is this him remembering that? Is he remembering her and seeing the angel of death as her?
Sure, yeah, it didn't even put that together. That this blonde that comes up with
with the daughter.
Ex.
Yeah, and his ex. Yeah.
I mean, maybe I can find some purchase, because I feel like I'm just kind of grasping at straws. I mean, the opening is so amazing.
Yeah.
This, the very first thing is him waking up, putting in eye drops.
Right. Which, I mean,
smoking in the shower.
So this is one of like a number of repeated motifs, right? And I think that like, so the
over and over again.
Well, the 5 stages of grief stand-up set is also like something that it comes up multiple times, both when he's literally editing it and then when it's playing in his head as he's in the hospital. But yeah, then there's the Vivaldi whatever number that plays, and he does the repeated
etude or
yeah, I looked it up. Yeah, Does that get
Showtime.
I think, does that also get used in After Hours, or is there just something similar that's in After Hours? But anyway, talk about After Hours on here too.
That sounds. Yeah, I did see. I would have loved to. I would have loved to talk After Hours.
Yeah, well,
fucking-
Slope, you got there first. No.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that was a great, and I need to revisit some of those episodes. I looked on the YouTube, but
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, everybody, that's a good. Thank you for plugging my YouTube. It's up there. Please subscribe. And yeah, no, the like, yeah. So, and what's great, and I was watching some of the special features earlier, and there's a really amazing talk with the editor who won an Academy Award. This was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards, and it won for editing and I think production design,
costume design,
which
and
you know is all for the
song,
ending.
maybe?
It's all like the ending.
Yes.
Original
Oh my
score,
God.
original score, editing, costume design, art direction. Yeah, and it was also nominated for cinematography, actor, director, and picture. Did it lose to Rocky? I think.
Picture no, it was up again. I think it lost to
Kramer
Kramer
versus Kramer. No, that's the wrong. They did the wrong thing. They did
What
the
an
wrong
L!
thing.
It was that, and it was Apocalypse.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now would have been the only other one that would have been acceptable.
Apocalypse Now, All That Jazz. And by the way, I was looking at the Wikipedia for All That Jazz. Apparently, Stanley Kubrick said.
Oh, I have this in my notes. Well, because it's funny. I know exactly what you're going to talk about because there's the line in the movie, actually, where Joe Gideon. It's early in the movie. I think it's when he's in the editing room, and he says, "Do you think that Stanley Kubrick ever gets depressed?" Very funny, because obviously, fucking yes.
Yeah, have you ever seen a Stanley Kubrick
Yeah,
movie?
exactly. And also, he like
Barry Lyndon?
He left
That
America
was
and never
fucking
came back.
depressing as
Holed
hell.
up in England, and then like made them build the New York City street there to do Eyes Wide Shut because he couldn't let, God forbid, he go to America to film on the streets of New York, the most filmable city in the world. Anyway. But then yeah, the it's in the Wikipedia that when Stanley Kubrick watched the movie, he walked out of the theater saying, "I think that's the best movie I've ever seen."
Mm-hmm.
Which
and hard to argue. I mean, what's crazy is that this movie works so well.
Right. I said the same thing when I watched it. Yeah. It should be indulgent. It should be masturbatory. It should suck.
It's a niche. It's such a niche kind of concept.
It should only be for theater people or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just plays. There's so much like the father-daughter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like some of the father-daughter stuff. Like when you watch the like great big like stuff at the end, and it's like all so darkly comic and really funny, and then she'll like have a moment, or like the way that she hugs him when he's like shaking everybody's hands, they're celebrating, and then she like doesn't want to let go. It's like these little moments you're like, like that's the real thing. That's like, even as this is all, we're making it all fun and it's like a big show.
There's 3 or 4 great scenes with the daughter.
Yeah, she's great.
You know, where he's the scene where she's helping him like choreograph, this like dance, and it's like this is like her time with her dad, and he's also like he's working, and he can only have this like heart to heart with her while he's like working. Like,
well, it's it's like the most direct way to connect with him, and it's the same thing with his ex. It's like when they have, that's also one of the best scenes in the movie is when they have their very tense
when he comes in and says, I can't do it. Like I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the scene, he's like, okay, yeah, I got it.
Right.
I got something.
Which was his relationship with Gwen Verdon, who that is based on. So first of all, that actress who's great. She mostly did stage acting and then only did a few film roles. And this was
her
one
name
of them.
is
Leland Palmer.
Leland Palmer.
Is she Bob? I don't know.
Yeah, she may be.
Yeah, this woman may have killed Laura Palmer. But spoiler.
Yeah, spoilers for season 2 of Twin Peaks.
She's awesome. Leland Palmer. Actually, she was somebody who Bob Fosse knew because she starred in Pippin as the female lead in that Fastrada. Which Ben Vereen was also in. As
Fosse won the Tony for.
Yes, so that was the year. So Cabaret comes out, and Bob Fosse Abby, if you want to let the cat out, the cat wants to be let out. Thank you. This is the time of the stream where I say that. Yeah, so Cabaret comes out, and it is a huge success, just smashing success, wins Oscars for Liza Minnelli and Joel Grey, and Bob Fosse beats Francis Ford Coppola for Godfather to win the Oscar for Cabaret. That's
incredible.
That same year, he also wins, he directs Pippin and wins the Tony for Best Directing for Pippin, and he directs Liza Minnelli in her big variety special, Liza with a Z, which is amazing. I really recommend people. It's only an hour. Go check it out. It's so good. He wins an Emmy for that. So he wins an Emmy,
Tony,
and
Oscar
in the same year.
In the same year for directing different projects.
And then he suffers a nervous breakdown,
little,
and almost kills himself, throwing himself from like throwing himself out the window. So that's when he first has his first breakdown, and then he gets better, comes back. Yeah. So, but Pippin is also where he met both Ben Vereen and where he met one of maybe one of my favorite performances in this movie, Anne Ranking. Anne Ranking.
She's great.
Anne Ranking is playing herself.
Yeah, they were in a relationship, right?
It was absolutely her. That was her.
Rough. That's rough.
She's conflicts that they had actually had. I think she walked in on him with another woman, probably. Man, that's all.
I mean, that's one of the most devastating scenes where she walks in, and
also she has that great line. You have to be so generous with your cock. I love that.
Yeah, I did. I wrote that down in my notes. But what's up, Jakey? What's up, Jakey Chains? What's up? Yo, what up? I feel like the white Bob Fosse. There you go.
That's right. I feel like the white Roy Scheider.
When Katie comes in and he's in bed with the, mediocre dancer,
right?
Who he's trying to help be a better dancer by fucking her or something.
Well, but but also there's such an interesting way. So this is something Abby said earlier when we were talking about this. Was she's like, what's really crazy about this is that it's such a less hagiographic, is that a word? Portrayal compared to these recent biopics, let's say Rocket Man or I can't think of any other ones, but Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever.
What's the one where he's a monkey or?
Oh yeah, Better Man, which actually I kind of liked, but because it was crazy. Those are all great examples. Even when they show their drug use or things like that, they have to always by the end they pull through, they're so wonderful, they're so great, and this is such a more complicated portrayal of himself, of him being a real piece of shit. He doesn't leave it out, but also I think he does do things include stuff where something that he would really do in the cattle calls, in the beginning, is that he would personally, and it was in the interview before the show, he would personally go up to every dancer to tell them if they didn't make it, which is something that most directors, choreographers would not do. They would tell their assistant, these are the ones.
Yeah, very humane.
Yeah, but he wants to go up and look them in the eyes and tell them and shake their hands, which is great. And even then when she comes to, to fuck him or whatever at the apartment, and she's like, do you think I'll be a great actress? And he says, no. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He's not just trying to get her into bed and just get with her. It's not casting couch. It's and then she said, well, do you want to go to bed? And he says, yeah. And then that's so.
Yes. Yeah. He's not completely full of shit.
Right. But I mean, he still is a real piece of shit. But he has
the self-awareness. It's not enough. It doesn't
excuse.
Change.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. It's not an excuse, but he does he is aware that his behavior is not acceptable.
Right. Well, and he always puts in. And it could be that this is his excuse or something, but this is a real thing. A lot of what I'm saying here is stuff I learned from the miniseries Fosse Verdon, which if you are actually interested in learning about this stuff, it's a pretty good miniseries. I will say though that
I have not seen that. I love Sam Rockwell though, but
Michelle Williams is incredible as Gwen Verdon. But I will warn everybody that the All That Jazz episode is kind of the worst one because God, I hate having to talk about this, but I have to. So, when they're making all that jazz in the Fosse Verdon show, and it comes time, they show him filming the final big number, and they have the set and everything, and it's a pretty good job at having the set. But then the actor that they have playing Roy Scheider as Joe Gideon, with a really bad hairpiece, fake nose, looks so bad. Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's the executive producer on the miniseries, and he cast himself as Roy Scheider.
As Roy Scheider.
Who the only thing he does in the show is there's one scene where Bob Fosse, yes, and that is also the show. Tommy Kail, who also directed Hamilton, directed the miniseries, and Michelle Williams dumped her then husband to be with Tommy Kail. They're still together, to the best of my knowledge. So there's a lot going on with Fosse Verdon, but the scene is just Lin-Manuel as Roy Scheider and Sam Rockwell as Bob Fosse talking to him and being like, "Man, that must feel so great to go up and shake everybody's hands and have them celebrate for you, that happens at the end of the number." He's like, "You want to do it? You want to try it?" And they do a take with actual Bob Fosse doing it. I don't even know if that's doing it. Margaret Qualley plays Anne Ranking, and she's great.
Interesting.
She's great.
Interesting.
Anne Ranking is such an important person in his life,
and she can. What's the music video where Margaret Qualley is just going absolutely crazy? She can dance,
right? Yeah. No, Margaret Qualley is a dancer. She has dancer training, and she's
okay. Yeah,
she's great.
I'll have to watch Fosse Verdon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But so Anne Ranking was
that scene though where Katie, played by Anne Ranking, walks in on him in bed with this dancer, and you hear the dog bark. He wakes up, and camera pans up, and you see her standing there, leaning against the door jamb, and she says, "I'm sorry." And then she says, "Boy, am I sorry." And you're just like, man, first she's like, "I'm sorry for walking in on you," and then she's like, "Holy shit, I'm sorry that I'm in this position, I'm in this position at all."
Well, it's also because there was such, both because of how they got together. Here's the other interesting thing, is that Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon, they were always so close. They never got divorced. They didn't live together for the last, 20 years of Bob's life. But Anne Ranking and Gwen Verdon were really close friends. Anne Ranking was the first permanent replacement for Gwen Verdon as Roxy Hart in Chicago. And that's not including the whole... I can't get into this because I'll talk for too long. But there was a whole thing with Liza Minnelli briefly replacing her when Gwen Verdon had to go out to get a surgery on her throat. Anyway,
for the opening, was it for the opening of the show?
So okay, I'm just gonna have to tell because it is too interesting. I'm sorry. So it opened, and Chicago got great reviews for Gwen Verdon, but they didn't really. They people were questioning a lot of Fosse's choices. Probably specifically, why are they all naked? And all this stuff. But after some time, he felt, as he was watching the show open, that the actors really got it even more. They kind of had to ease into it, the style of what they were doing with it. Gwen Verdon goes out because there's a confetti cannon or something that goes off in the show, and a piece of something got in her throat, and she burned a vocal cord or something. Wow. And so she has to actually go out for 6 weeks to deal with that. Fosse calls up his friend Liza Minnelli, that he knows from Cabaret, and she's a huge star at this point, and he has her fill in during that 6 weeks. And what he does that is so shitty is he invites the press back to see Liza Minnelli, and they rave about Liza Minnelli, but they also were like, and the show's better, and that's why he wanted them to come back, because he wanted to get the notice for the show. But it drove Gwen Verdon. Gwen Verdon was furious about that. that it's like this temporary replacement. Anyway, Anne Ranking and Gwen Verdon also eventually make the show Fosse on Broadway in the 90s. That is like a greatest hits of his dances and stuff, and they make that together. Anne Ranking originates Roxy Hart in the Chicago revival, so she's very much in the family. And Anne Ranking and his daughter were very close. I mean, like, that was another mother figure for Nicole Fosse. So that whole relationship, that is one of maybe my favorite. Before the, like, huge music number at the end, these, like, what's the word? I'm blanking on. Diegetic. These diegetic dance performances that happen. My favorite is the one that Anne Ranking and the daughter do to Everything Old Is New Again. Is so sweet.
So good. And that was the other big scene with the daughter that I wanted to highlight was like, like you can tell how much this guy loves his daughter and how much she loves him, and how, but you can also see, like, you know, he's incapable of having a better relationship with his daughter because of the nature of his, like, him as like a workaholic, and his kind of
he's like a maniacal focus on like the dance and the art and the creating. And so that's why, like, sort of, when these real conversations happen, they happen through dance, right? Like he's teaching her the dance, or he's so down in the dumps because he doesn't feel good about his movie that had its first screening or whatever. How do they cheer him up? They do a dance. Like, this is how you get through to him. It's like the language he understands. It's great.
Yeah, incredible scene. Great. I don't know. I feel like I'm not as able to speak about the dancing or the singing in the movie, but it is all great. You know, we can talk about the ending. We should talk about the ending, but
for sure,
I am super interested in the casting of Roy Scheider as the.
So here's the thing:
Bob Fosse stand-in.
Well, because
are you going to talk about
who was originally supposed to play him?
Yeah,
which was supposed to
be the other star of Jaws,
and right, and of the '70s, and who had just won an Oscar. I think he would have just won an Oscar for The Goodbye Girl. Richard Dreyfuss. Much different movie. I don't know if I would have liked that movie. I don't think it would have worked. I don't know.
I think he. By the way, in doing my homework for this was I was gonna look and see if I could find an episode of Film Spotting, which is a podcast that I enjoy with a couple of Chicago film critics. And I think I would have had to, like, go back into their archive. So what I did find was the episode of Blank Check, where Lin-Manuel Miranda is the guest, and they do talk about all that jazz. And you know, say what you will about Lin, but
I haven't been able to bring myself to listen to that episode. Which is small of me, but again, it's because of that, not just Lin talking about all that jazz, but because of him doing that in Fosse Verdon and casting himself as Roy Scheider. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. Unless you open with an apology for doing that. Always casting yourself in shit that you shouldn't be. Piece of shit.
Scheider is so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah. He should have beat Dustin Hoffman in Kramer versus Kramer. I haven't seen Kramer versus Kramer, but
me neither. But you know,
there's no way.
And I don't know if they ever will. Like, I just don't.
Well, also.
He's
an asshole. Meryl Streep has talked about, like, openly about that being like one of the worst filming experiences of her life because he was such a piece of shit to her. So
famously a piece of shit, sex pest.
Oh, he's also a sex pest. Yeah, that's true. He's good in some movies.
Scheider is apparently not a dancer, not much of a singer, but incredible movie star. Incredible leading man. Jaws, one of my all-time favorite movies. And the Chief, played by Scheider, is such a huge part of that. I mean,
he's
all three of those guys are,
yes, Robert Shaw,
super important.
There's actually a play about this. I don't know if you know about this. It's called The Shark is Broken, and it's a play that takes place it's just the whole play is just the three guys, and they're like waiting to have the shark working again, and they're just getting drunk and like talking and and talking about how this is such a disaster because the shark is always broken, and so there's a whole play.
Waiting for Godot.
Yeah, with Richard Dreyfuss, Roy Scheider, and Robert Shaw. And in the original production, Robert Shaw's son or grandson played him, I think.
Interesting.
So that's kind of interesting. Actually, so speaking of some more connections. Okay, the editor. I have more to talk about with the editor from that interview. So
great editing, great film editing.
It won Academy Award-winning film editing,
yeah.
Which, to be fair, so did some of the editing wins in recent years. Specifically, Bohemian Rhapsody are pretty awful. But he is in this movie. He plays the editor of the stand-up.
Yeah.
He is actually in there in the cutting room. Yes, the movie that they're editing in the movie. He is there as the editor. He has a really interesting history with Fosse. So he was somebody that he saw Cabaret and he was like, I need to work with this guy. And so he like got to like getting to, working with him. And the first thing he did with him was Liza with a Z. And then he did Lenny. And so the stuff that they're really struggling with in the movie of, gotta get these right. And the problem that they were having was they were editing Lenny was that the stand-up bits were just really flat. Like Dustin Hoffman didn't have enough of the edge of that Lenny Bruce actually brought, and they just weren't carrying. They just like the movie would just like kind of go to nothing when they.
I can't believe what did he say? I can't believe I let him. I can't believe he's mumbling. I can't believe I let him mumble or something.
Yeah, he was really kind of let down. I think a little bit, especially in the stand-up parts with Dustin Hoffman. And what they found was that when they were they would intercut these stand-up bits in with the scenes instead, so that it was kind of like a commentary almost an in-between. And that's really like mimics a lot of what they're doing than how they treat the stand-up in this movie. And in fact, basically Fosse's that really kind of charged him. I think he enjoyed, and that was something that came from Allenheim, the editor, and that they sort of ran with. And then Fosse sort of almost like planned all that jazz around knowing like from the beginning, okay, I want to do that with this movie, like have that sort of intercutting going on.
Hey, do you think that Dustin Hoffman called Bob Fosse the F slur in real life? Because that's in this movie.
For sure. Well, in the 70s, yeah, I know. He's like, you're a F slur. Like you're basically have a lot of tendencies or whatever. Yeah.
You're not a you know what, but you have a lot of feminine.
An interesting thing about Cliff Gorman, who plays that actor, who was in his movie in this, was that so Lenny was a play first, and Cliff Gorman played Lenny on off Broadway or wherever the play was. And in fact, I think that Fosse, when he was planning to do Lenny, really wanted him to be in it, but they're like, no, you need a star. And so that's another reason why they
probably would have been better.
Yeah,
probably would have been better.
It
I haven't seen
well
Lenny, admittedly.
Lenny's okay. Yes, Wallace Shawn with his great one line.
Yes, I have this in my notes. Hold on, I have this in my notes. Let me. What is Wallace Shawn? I knew that you would call this out.
If anybody wants to
show on Broadway. If you want your show on Broadway to make a profit without really opening,
with basically the producers, hey everybody, if you want to have your own Wallace Shawn emote, feel free to subscribe, and then you can have your own Wallace Shawn emote.
Yeah, I wrote down a la Bloom.
Yes, exactly.
You could make more with a flop, which of course I always think about Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, sure.
Larry and
David Schwimmer. Right,
David Schwimmer.
Yeah. I love that season
because that's right when he forgets his line and he
and that the whole thing is revealed. Which is, I also really love that because it's kind of the last thing that Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft did together, and that's one of the great love stories is Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft. And I love the twist at the end of that season of Curb of it being like, oh, we know they're going to be just like they cast them to be bad on purpose. Like, it was the producers set up for the producers. So great.
So good.
Anyway. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so some of the other real connections, because the editor was kind of giving him the address on the pill bottle is Bob Fosse's real address. That was
That's so funny.
It's Bob Fosse's actual address. I do also want to the movie was written by Fosse and Robert Allen Arthur. And in all things Fosse, certainly for Chicago, it's very possible that some parts of this were ghost written by either Neil Simon or Paddy Chayefsky, his best friends, which is what a crew of guys. And they're both characters in Fosse Verdon also, played by Evan Handler is Neil Simon, and Norbert Leo Butz, a great stage actor, is Paddy Chayefsky. And yeah, so that's that, and it's like they were always just shooting the shit with each other and hanging out. Dear Evan Handler. The assistant choreographer, Fosse's real assistant choreographer, the one that's like with him, like teaching everything. And I really, really, really love at the end when Ben Vereen's coming out and Anne Ranking is playing like the one side of his heart or whatever, and then the assistant choreographer is playing the other side. I was like, this time that like kind of almost like moved me, where I was like, the metaphor in that is really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the ending. Like,
yes,
what's that guy's name? Is it
Ben Vereen?
Vereen? Yeah, I mean, did he get a nomination for?
No, but he could. I had the same thought when I watched this. I was like, he maybe should have gotten a nom for just this, because I mean, all he does before that end is like he's this funny TV presenter that he watches in the hospital and makes fun of because he always gives the same like intro.
Yes.
And
a great, a
great entertainer, and even better humanitarian. Yeah, even better human being.
And my close friend for
years, right? That's what they do. Yeah.
And then of course just kind of, setting that up twice. It's the rule of three, and then flipping it on its head,
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned like Roy Scheider's not the best singer necessarily, but like, at this point, it's like the only thing he actually sings in the show. I mean, the movie, and it's so like genuine. Actually, you know what it makes me think of is The Leftovers, and when Justin Theroux sings the "Coming Home" or whatever, the Simon and Garfunkel song.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Fuck, what's that?
Coming home or whatever. Home where my papa home, and he like sings the whole thing, and it's not like he sings it great, but it's so real. It's so like from him, it's so emotional.
The broke Homeward Bound.
Homeward Bound. That's it. Yes.
Yeah. Homeward Bound. Yes. I wish I was.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And so, him like it's all the production around him. It almost doesn't matter how well he's hitting the moves or singing and the stuff. It's just like because the whole movie has led to this. And this is something I was thinking is like. Some movies you're like, oh, that's the best beginning of a movie ever, and some movies you're like, oh, that movie, like Cure, has the best ending of a movie ever.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. Oh, dude, Cure. Who did you talk about that with DB?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he's great. It was a great choice.
I gotta catch up on some of these apps.
That's all right. Thank you. Certainly, they're all up there. But this movie, both you could say, and nobody would argue with you. This movie has the best beginning of all time and the best ending of all time. The beginning, again, it's just the cattle call set to on Broadway, and just the editing of it is just beautiful. They're like raising their hands up and all that kind of shit. And it establishes the people that are going to be in the show. It literally has casting each of the people that are going to be in the show. It has all the producers and the writer and the accountant. It has his wife and his daughter. And they're all introduced wordlessly in this sequence. It's beautiful. It's so well done. It's just incredible. And then everything just leads to this grand finale too.
Yes, incredible number. The bye bye life, bye bye emptiness, bye bye loneliness. I think I'm gonna die. Like, it's the culmination of the rest of these hallucinatory numbers.
Sure.
And it ends with the you hear the EKG kind of go beep
flatline
beep you hear the flat line.
And then the very unsentimental ultimate ending, which is which is again Fosse just like perfect his exact like so dark sense of humor is that you've just experienced this otherworldly religious experience of this number and him moving towards this light, like being pulled, and it's like beautiful, and then it's just zipping him up in the body bag.
Body bag.
Cue.
Yeah.
There's no business like show business.
And then the credits only have like
once no business like show business sung by Ethel Merman.
It's silent.
Goes through, then it's silent for the rest of it.
Silent for the rest of the credits. I loved that.
We go on with the show, and that to me is like, it's like Fosse needed to make this movie. It's like he needed to put everything that was like fucking him up his whole life or whatever that he was wrestling with and he was obsessed with what his death was going to be, and it like clearly just weighed on his mind all the time, and then he makes this just like beautiful like rendition of it, and then at the same breath it's and if I could experience this as my end, and it's all of this, and this is like, oh, how beautiful and great. It doesn't matter. At the end, you're just worm food, like it's just then you're done. Then they bag you up.
Unsentimental.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple things. John Lithgow in here as
so good.
Who is he a stand-in for?
I actually don't. No? I think that's just that's a pretty much original character. I don't think that he.
I think it's in the screenplay because this was one thing I learned from the Blank Check episode is Lynn was talking about reading the original draft for All That Jazz, and none of the names are changed. It is literally Fosse, Bob Fosse, Gwen Verdon,
and ranking.
Yes, it's all their real names, and I can't remember who the Lithgow character was, but it was like somebody who he was just kind of, shit talking, like very kind of unsubtly. But I love Lithgow as this, and then the woman who comes up and asks for his autograph and says, next to Joe Gideon, you're my favorite.
Yes,
you're my favorite director.
Yes. Well, and then he's there at the end, and then because everybody's in the audience at the end for that grand finale, and Lithgow's there. Something I want to talk about actually, because sort of when we talk about how his flaws and how he was such a womanizer and things like that, he puts the skeleton key of sort of like the source of also why he's obsessed with sex and all this kind of and why he ties sex to performing so much. And that's a real thing that he shows in this movie, that the young Bob Fosse actor, who was played by the kid from Back to School and Christine.
That was my very first note. My very first note was that opening scene. Not the opening scene, but when
he does the tap dance. So he basically did get, content warning here, but he did get SA'd by older sex worker performers, burlesque, and when he was doing like vaudeville burlesque stuff as a very at the age of 12, he was so young. Wow. And this is depicted in Fosse Verdon. In fact, one of his assaulters is played by Julie Klausner, which is interesting.
Of what is it? Double Threat?
Yeah, Double Threat. Julie Klausner. She's in Fosse Verdon as the source of his trauma, but he puts it in this movie as a joke, as a big. It's like one of these jokes where it's like they're all laughing, but you and the audience are like, "Wow, that's like if you're laughing, sad. It's like that's humiliating." Like, oh my god, because basically they. Assault him, and he ejaculates in his pants as he's doing a whole tap dance. He's got a big visible cum stain on his pants, and the audience is cracking up at him. And I think that part of it is a little. That's like that's invented for the movie, maybe to give it a performance. But the assault is true, and all that is like real.
His mom's doing like a voiceover there, he was such a good boy, he was always a hard worker, and he never even cared about all these naked women. It never bothered him. There's definitely something there. I just
this is like
Maybe the mom. Maybe
he was young,
maybe,
earning money for his family, like doing this, like going out and tap dancing with his brother originally, and then on his own, and started as a dancer. He was always too short to be a dancer, but somehow would get in, and he was. I mean, he's a very, very fascinating guy. Flawed guy. I would not say I stand by everything he ever did in his life. But at the same time, he lived that so authentically, and he didn't try to hide it. He was like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. And at the same time, you're like, yeah, well, maybe don't be a piece of shit. But at the same time, there's a lot of piece of shits, and he gives a lot of insight into what being a piece of shit is. And, that's useful stuff to have.
There's one scene that we haven't talked about that I was kind of struck by, and that's the table read.
Yes.
When he says, like, okay, we're gonna just read through this. Nope, don't act. We're just gonna.
Which
read
is a
through
real
it.
thing. Like it's a real thing that you will be told in a first read is they don't want people trying to act too much. Because then everybody's, you haven't started the actual work of what the show is directing and making the choices and stuff like that. We just want to hear the words, but it never happens. It never, ever happens. People always are doing the bits and trying to make people laugh.
Yeah, so it starts, and right away, like immediately, his wife says, like, everyone has a car. In fact, I know somebody who bought a Mercedes-Benz
to drive to the bathroom or whatever.
Just to go to the bathroom. And one in the room dying.
Yeah, they go nuts. Yeah.
And he like gets up and he walks like to the back like of the room, and he's just like and
everything goes mute.
The sound cuts out, and you're just hearing him
like walk, like his footsteps or like little like
his bones crack, and like, and you're just like, he's completely tuned out,
right?
He's completely out.
Yeah, I mean he's not he's
chain smoking,
He's not excited for the show. It's sort of mirrored with like by the time he got to doing Chicago, it was like it was sort of this obligation that he still had to Gwen and to do this. So there was that. I think some of that feeling is accurate, but it is it's that thing of like, okay, this is totally insincere. Like this is totally full of shit. Like, and that he's just like, I'm out.
He's sitting there, and the last little bit is he's holding this pencil and he's tapping it in his hand, and he breaks the pencil in half and he drops both halves of the pencil, and you're just like part of him just die. Like part of him, you just watched part of this guy just die.
Yeah.
Like right there, and you can see his wife, who's playing the lead. She says that last line about
just another
24-year-old girl like me could buy a house in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
But she's looking at him like she knows because she knows him so well, and it's heartbreaking.
Which is then I think their relationship is so great, and they don't like they have the one really charged scene, and then there's a lot of just like one little line, one interaction like that you're bringing that have so much history in them, and they feel so loaded in such a cool way. And the other one that I really love, and then we'll kind of wrap this up, is after they show the number to the producers and the writer and the accountant, which we watched the first half of because we couldn't watch the second half because there's titties all over.
There's a lot of titties
because everybody got that titties out in it, but it's beautiful. I mean, it's a really like the first part's like, haha, this is fun, and it's great. It's a great contrast because when the first half of it ends, they're all like, oh yes, and they're all like, oh, we're so excited, this is gonna sell. Oh, we're so great, we're so grateful. And then he's like, well, but hang on, let's keep going.
We could even get a deal with one of the airlines.
Yeah, with one of the airlines, right? Yeah, that was when they played the song. And then he's like, well, but there's more. And then they play the, erotica part, which is just basically an orgy kind of staged to dance. But it's so well, like, it's so, like, the what he was doing with the human body and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to be a big, like, dance head to be able to just appreciate, like, Jesus. Like, these people are in shape. And also just the form of the body and, like, it's kind of all of his point of view in a dance there, and they do it, and they're they're scandalized in the producers, but he goes over to his ex-wife and he says, "Oh, I don't think they liked it. What did you think?" And she says, "Honestly,"
She's like crying.
yeah, she goes, "Honestly, I think it's the best work you've ever done." And she looks up, she's got tears in her eyes. She goes, "You son of a bitch!" It's like,
Yeah, she's furious that
because it's gonna fuck the show, but it is brilliant. She knows that it's like the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
But it's also killing the show to do it that way. Like, you can't do it that way. So yeah, just so many. Just what a we could honestly go for hours on this one, but we should come to a close here. But
let me
Yes.
scan through my notes here. So
that's okay, because I still have one segment, but scan through
one. This was the joint winner of the 1980 Palme d'Or, along with Kagamusha, which I have not seen.
Oh, Kagamusha's awesome. Have you seen Ran?
Yes.
Seen Ran?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So it's the same lead in Ran, Tatsuya Nakadai, who's one of my favorite Japanese actors going back to the 60s. And it's the same lead actor that plays the king, Ran, except here he's playing the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Decoy.
Rebel?
Well, he's he's like a decoy of the shogunate or whatever, of the head. So he's pretending he's a body double, but then the actual guy dies, and they keep him in power as It's
like Dave or some I don't know.
It's really good.
The scene where he's getting the physical exam and the doctor has like a dangling
and he's
dangling from his mouth.
You can't even hear what the doctor's saying because he's hacking the whole
up,
time.
Like his lungs.
And that's when he gets cleared for the clear bill of health before the
health
show. Yeah.
What people what healthcare GPs might have been like. The heart surgery scene was pretty cool. Seeing
it was a real filmed heart surgery. Yeah, that they used.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
There was actually
the Wallace Shawn bit.
One funny bit about the heart surgery that the editor told was that there's actually the part of them using the what it's called or whatever, where they pull open the chest cavity.
Yes, the spreader.
Yeah, and when he first showed that to Fosse, he was like, "No, take that out. That's too far. That's too gross." And he was like, "Okay," and then he put it back in and just didn't say anything. And then Fosse never said anything. He just kept it in, and they just kept. And then Fosse just, I guess, after the first initial shock, didn't ask him to take it out again. So he's like, okay. God. And then he went to see it in theaters, the day or the weekend it came out. The editor did, and he saw a group of old ladies get up right at that moment and leave. Theater.
It's scary. Scheider. We didn't talk a lot about Scheider, but my God, Jaws, Sorcerer, French Connection.
Yeah.
So good in all of them. I mean, God, Sorcerer is one that probably my favorite Friedkin movie that I've seen. But he's so good in all of those. There's a couple of great scenes where he's talking to God. He's talking to God, and he says, he says look at the this rose. How did you do that? It's perfect. Why can't I do that?
My favorite, I think maybe my favorite line in the movie is he says to God when he's dying, and he looks up and he's
bargaining.
What's wrong?
The matter?
What's the matter? Don't you like musical comedy?
Musical comedy, beautiful.
Yes, Snorktides, yes.
And then he says, "This is just a rough cut,"
Right.
This is just a rough cut,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had for notes.
Yeah. I mean, again,
I had such a blast.
I'm glad that you loved it. And it's always interesting to me that this has broken, that it plays outside of theater people and stuff like that.
Pure musical theater.
I think I remember because I loved the movie, and I remember when I was getting into alternative stand-up in the 2000s, and I saw the Comedians of Comedy, the original documentary with Patton Oswalt and Brian Posehn and Zach Galifianakis and Maria Bamford. And there's a part of that where Patton is doing he's just riffing on stage, and he's in a weird performance venue that kind of has lights under the stage and stuff, and he goes, "It feels like I'm in the end of all that jazz." And it was that moment to me, I was like, oh, that movie is it has cultural cachet. Like, I thought it was just kind of a cool theater movie. That was like the first time that that really realized, and I just like everybody.
I mean, it ran for it had a huge theatrical run, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and tied for that.
I did want to say I've never been. Well, I was in a musical of sorts in high school. I was in a production of Alice in Wonderland, and I played the walrus in one scene. The walrus and the carpenter. But my girlfriend is big choir. She's in choir, and she's done a lot of musical theater. She was in. She's talking about going out for a couple of plays. She's talking about going out for Frozen. They're doing like Frozen at Christmas time, and then doing Sweeney Todd.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite one.
Is that Sondheim?
Yes, it's my favorite one.
Yeah,
it's my favorite musical of all time.
Wow.
There are six. There are 6 male principal roles, and I've played 3 of them in different productions. Yes.
Have you played Sweeney Todd?
I did. I was way too young, and I'd like to do it again now that I am of more appropriate.
That's
age.
so cool.
When I was a young child, I played Tobias, the boy, the orphan boy, whatever, and then I played Anthony and Sweeney actually in the same summer in different productions.
Very cool. Very cool. So I'm looking for fingers crossed. Maybe she'll get a
look, and if you want
in one of those,
and I have on my letterbox, I have a list already of the top 30 I think actually good movie musicals. I certainly don't sleep on the Jacques Demy ones.
Umbrellas of Cherbourg that's my number 2 after Singing in the Rain. Those are my 2
Singing in the Rain, certainly. Yep. Have you seen Les Demoiselles de Rochefort?
No, I've only seen.
I
Cherbourg.
actually personally prefer Rochefort to Cherbourg, but they're both great.
I just loved Cherbourg so much because it is like such a departure from what I'm.
Phantom of Paradise is on the list, Jakey. Yeah, absolutely.
What I'm used to in terms of movie musical, Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah, hell yeah. I know I'm just kind of like free associating now and just like throwing shit at the wall.
Well, while we're talking about other movies, actually, it's time now for my hit new segment. I really love this. I love my new segment that I did for the first time last week. It is. Oh wait, I didn't change. Hang on, I have to edit what the movie is because we're not doing Ricky-O anymore.
Ricky-O.
Hang on, I'm gonna update this. All right. Okay. If you liked All That Jazz, hang on. Let's get it under the. Here we go. If you liked All That Jazz, try. There you go. So here's some more for you to try. These are pulled from my own Criterion collection, and actually,
wow!
This time they are all literally Criterions. Last week they weren't. Okay, so from my John Cassavetes box set, Opening Night, we start with. This is Jenna Rollins, John Cassavetes' wife. Of course, it's kind of her almost continuing in the mode of Woman Under the Influence, where she is a mess of an alcoholic. But there's a lot going on. Very cool. Very thinking about death and legacy as well. Some really amazing live theater scenes that really freak me out as an actor because they're so dangerous in terms of like we've gone fully off script and what's going on here, and there's really cool metaphysical stuff happening in this as well. It's kind of a ghost story.
I need to do more. I need to give Cassavetes another try. I think my very first Cassavetes was Faces.
Yeah.
And that might have been a little bit too kind of artsy or too...
That's the one with the biracial woman that they think is white and they find out is black, and it's like...
No, it's...
Or is that Shadows?
That sounds like Shadows, but Faces is like... It's all shot in these like close-up or medium close-up.
Right.
And it's just like it's a very conversational
Well, he was
movie.
very...
It just didn't work for me. But,
very experimental. Yeah, Opening Night was kind of my entry point, and I think that it is a good entry point, an Opening Night.
Okay, I'll give... maybe I'll
I think it's actually even easier than... Woman Under the Influence is probably the one people talk about more and love more, I think, for Jenna's performance, as well as Peter Falk's performance, but that one is kind of a rough watch for me because it's just almost too raw. Okay, next up, now we're gonna do some more theater movies here. One of my... So, this is also... So, I should say, my letterbox, which you can follow up here. when I watched All That Jazz, I was like, how did I let this not be in my top 4 anymore? I edited my top 4 on Letterboxd for the first time this year. Last year, I was doing a thing where I was editing it every month, and I was like, no, I'm going to try to commit to my top 4. Sorry, Harakiri, I love you. You're probably number 5. I needed to move 1, and I put All That Jazz up there. Also in my top 4 on Letterboxd. Actually, I have 2 of my other top 4 this week. If you liked All That Jazz, try Mike Leigh's Topsy-Turvy.
That's a blind spot for me.
This is such and Mike Leigh, has like 2 modes actually. There's the
I suggested Naked for
Naked is definitely the other mode. Secrets and Lies, Hard Truths are kind of the one mode of Hard Truth is so
Mr.
funny.
Turner, Secrets and Lies.
So Mr. Turner is more this flavor, and I actually haven't seen Mr. Turner. That's one I need to see. Topsy Turvy is the story of Gilbert and Sullivan making the Mikado, and what I love about it is that it's just a lot of different show people, all levels, making a thing, and they're all very flawed, and they all have their human failings, and they're all just trying to make something cool. And it's really, really a beautiful, cool film. I love Topsy Turvy. Another theater movie, Ozu, Floating Weeds. This is a story about floating weeds is a sort of a colloquial Japanese term referring to traveling actors because they aren't. There's like the way that the acting troops are, they're not really moored to any one place. So, and it's about a man who comes back to a town and basically meets an old flame and his son, but he doesn't want to let his son know that he's his son because then he would have great shame of being the son of an actor. So, which I understand.
Yeah. Jakey, Good Morning is so good. And that's, I think, my only Ozu at this point as well.
Good Morning was what I recommended because Ricky Peacock we were talking last week that he hadn't seen a lot of old movies, and he hadn't even the classic Japanese movies. Even though Ricky is very much a Japanophile, knows Japanese, he's learning the language and everything. So, so the one Ozu I recommended to him was Good Morning. I love Good Morning.
Very accessible, very fun.
Tokyo Story is the best one. It is the best one, but it makes you cry. All right, last one. So I moved All That Jazz up to the number 2 spot in my top 4 this week, but I didn't move it over my number 1. Mishima. A Life in 4 Chapters. Have you seen this one?
I love Mishima.
Yeah.
God, it's so beautiful.
To me,
it's maybe the most beautiful visual movie I've ever seen.
I agree. I mean, this is a fucking movie. Talk about a movie that's somebody obsessed with their death and putting their death in their work, putting their death in their work and enacting it, kind of like that blurring line connection, and also the moving between storytelling modes, whether we're storytelling mode in this one place and then it looks like this when we're in this one place. This movie, that's the number 1. And that was, if you liked All That Jazz, try this. Okay, and I'll make that a TikTok.
Speaking of, sorry, I stepped on it.
No.
But speaking of people who are so, people who ultimately, died by suicide, who it was such a focal point in their work. And we talked about Soderbergh earlier. I don't know if you've seen either of his Spalding Gray
I haven't.
films.
I haven't. Yeah, it's Swimming to Cambodia, and I should.
So the 2 that Soderbergh did.
Soderbergh. No, that was a Demi did that one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Grey's Anatomy,
Okay.
and then a retrospect, like a posthumous film called "And Everything Is Going Fine" or something like that. But that, there's a guy who was so convinced that his life was going to end in suicide, and ultimately it did. And but
right,
such an interesting.
Or we should
guy.
say Fosse ultimately did die of a heart attack in 1986. The year I was born. Am I the reincarnation of Bob Fosse? And it was in Washington D.C., which was near where I was born. So
you're nowhere near as generous.
With my cock, yeah. Well, no. Bob Fosse. but he died. Actually, he was going to an event with Gwen Verdon in D.C., and she had come to get him from his hotel, and they were walking out of the hotel, and he had a heart attack and died right there in front of the hotel. So, but it was kind of a beautiful thing that they were together at the very end, because their stories are very tied to each other. So that's my other. If actually I should say, if you liked All That Jazz, I already shouted out once, but if you do want to learn more about Bob Fosse, the miniseries is pretty good. Is there anything that you? Here's your time for plugs and all that sort of thing. Please do it. Am I good at hosting a stream?
Yes. Bravo.
Thank
Bravo.
you. Oh, stop. I was fishing. No.
Yeah, if y'all like hanging out, talking movies, maybe even sneaking in a movie every now and then, come drop a follow on ADHDMD. That's twitch.tv/ADHDMD. That's real on Friday nights, 7 Central, which is my time zone. Sorry if you think it's inferior, you coastal elites out there, but
I was Central Time Zone for a few years. So.
8 Eastern, 5 Pacific for you.
Oh, thanks for giving me the shout out. I think probably Source Force might have done that. Thank you.
Hopefully, I don't know if I have my sound alerts thing will. Because I'm doing the virtual cam or whatever, but follow Friday nights. We usually do like a movie thing. That's really my only scheduled stream these days. Maybe someday I'll get back to doing more freewheeling stuff, watching some live action Japanese tokusatsu,
Sweet.
Super Sentai, Kamen Rider.
Yeah, I'm also finding what are the things that I like to do to just low effort hang. Oh, there's Source Source. There you go.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
I love that. That's great. It's a good channel. Definitely check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing some. I'm really enjoying my Lego building and watching crap, so I'll keep doing that as my other format and my high effort format. So if people saw the Noir stream a couple of weeks ago that I did with Slowpuke and Justin and Alex Fear, so I have a new big event stream that's coming in 2 weeks from tomorrow. It is called this is the Sunday Scaries concept, where I will be inhabited by a dead celebrity, and this time I will be, and this was why we were looking at doing Orson Welles, is because I will be inhabited by Orson Welles, and what Orson would like to do with his time inhabiting me is stage a radio play in the style of the War of the Worlds radio play that he did, that fooled all the rubes into thinking that they were actually getting invaded by aliens, except this radio play will be about the 2009 Balloon Boy incident. I have a couple people committed for the live reading cast. I have a few people that are going to record some fun little cameos. So that will be on August 17th. I have amazing art for that. I can't wait to show that Abby did, of course, my very talented wife, winner of the portrait night for Go of Kings. So look forward to that art.
So
keep
funny.
following me on my socials. Keep hanging out. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks again for doing this. And yeah, we will see y'all next time. And goodbye. I don't even know anybody live, so I'm just gonna go.